everyone. If you are preparing for your NEET PG 2026 FMGE or INICET, microbiology can feel overwhelming, but staining techniques are gold mine. They repeat almost every year with one or two direct questions, image-based questions, and some concepts which are repeated heavily. So in this lecture, we will be talking about previous year questions of 2025 on staining techniques. Our aim in this lecture will be to discuss the high yield repeated concepts from 2020 to 2025, exact recall PYQs from NEET PG 2025 on the staining techniques and detailed explanation of them with new predicted questions which can trap you in it options. Okay, now let's start with the must know staining techniques. First is the gram stain. Now, gram stain, we all know the steps of gram stain, but to make it easier, I've come up with this mnemonic. Cool Indians drink soda. So, what is the first stain? The first stain is the primary stain, that is the crystal violet. C for cool, C for crystal violet. Now, this stains all the bacteria with the same color. Both gram positive and gram negative will be stained violet. No discrimination. Okay. See, both are stained violet. Then comes your mordant. Now, this is a very direct question which can come in exam. Which is the mordant using gram stain? Which is grams iodine. I for Indian, I for iodine. Okay. What is the function of mordant? Now, mordant is like a cement. What does it do? It forms a diiodine complex which holds the primary stain, the crystal violet, together. It holds it tighter. That is the function of your mordant. Remember, mordant is like a cement. Now, at this stage also, both your gram positive and negative is the same color, purple or violet. Next comes your decolorizer. Cool Indians drink. D for drink, D for decolorizer. Decolorizer can either be your alcohol or your acetone. Now, in your when is the decolorizer is being used, what happens is your the gram positive bacteria, these gram positive bacteria with their thick peptidoglycan, they retain the primary stain. They are not affected by decolorizer and they remain violet. Whereas your gram negative bacteria with their thin peptidoglycan, thin walls, what they will do? They will lose the color. They become colorless at this stage. Okay. Next is your counter stain, that is cool Indians drink soda, S for soda, S for safranin. Now, when you add safranin, what will happen? Your gram negative bacteria, which was decolorized, it will take the counter stain. It will take the safranin and become pink. Clear? And your gram positive, since it already had your primary stain, it will remain violet. Okay? Clear? This is your step of gram stain. Now, there is one concept which you should know, which is repeated in NEET PG and is like a trap, is your gram variable. Which organisms are gram variable? C. What is the most important step in your gram stain? The most important step in your gram stain is the decolorizer. Now, when you overly decolorize, your over decolorization, remember this term, over decolorization of gram positive bacteria can make it gram variable. Okay. First is this point. Second gram variable are old cultures, your old bacterial cultures of, again, gram positive organism can also appear gram variable. Why? See, old culture have weakened peptidoglycan, so they will be affected by the decolorizer and they might lose their primary state. So they will appear gram variable. Understood? Clear? Let's move ahead. Now, you have done your gram staining. So, after gram staining, what will you see? You will see your gram positive bacteria, which is your violet in color. Now, these violet color bacteria, you will see it in two shapes. First shape is your circular. If it's circular, it is gram positive cocci. If it's like rods, it's gram positive bacilli. Now, in your gram positive cocci, if they are appearing in this bunch, in this cluster, like a bunch of grapes, this is your staphylococcus. Clear? Sometimes you get these direct images. Next is, if these gram positive cocci appear in straight chain, you see, if they are appearing as straight chain, then what it is? It is belonging to Streptococcus species. Understood? These are very important images. Now, this was your violet color gram positive cocci circular. Now, you have your rods, that is the gram-positive bacilli. So these appear like this. Now the example of gram-positive bacilli are your actinomyces. They are filamentous. Nocardia, this is also filamentous. Okay. You have your Bacillus anthracis. Okay. You have your Clostridium species. Clostridium species. Then you have your this organism. Now, Chinese letter pattern, gram-positive bacilli. This is a very good example, classical example of your Corynebacterium diphtheriae. Okay. So, to remember your gram-positive bacilli, you can use the mnemonic like here. A, B, C, D and no. No A, B, C, D is the mnemonic for your gram-positive bacilli. Clear? Now, next is your gram-negative, that is the pink color organism. They can also either be circular, so they will be gram-negative cocci, or they can be in rods. Gram-negative bacilli. Now, in your gram-negative cocci, it can either appear as your kidney-shaped diplococci. You see, this is intracellular. Now, this picture is very important. It has come a lot in exam. This is an example of your Neisseria gonorrhea. Okay. What will this cause? This will cause gonorrhea. Second example is your this. What is this? This is lens or half moon shape. You see, that his adjacent sides are flat. This is a very good example of your Neisseria meningitis. These pictures are important. Clear? Next is your gram-negative bacilli, your pink color rods. Okay. Classical example of this is your E. coli, your Klebsiella. Now, in gram-negative bacilli also, there are some organisms which has a very distinct shape. Very good example of this is this comma-shaped bacteria. This is your Vibrio cholera. Okay. Another is this S-shaped or your seagull wing-shaped bacteria, also known as Campylobacter jejuni. Now, this list with these images are gold mine. They are very important. Okay. Now, this was all about gram stain. Now, let's move ahead. Let's talk about Ziehl-Neelsen stain or acid-fast staining. Now, again, to remember this, you can think of this mnemonic: cool, hot and mild. C for cool, that is the primary stain, that is carbonyl fusion. So, once you add the carbonyl fusion, what will happen? Both the acid-fast organism and the non-acid-fast organism will take up the pink color. Then what is the mordant here in your Ziehl-Neelsen stain? The mordant here is hot. It's heat. In gram stain, it was gram iodine. In Ziehl-Neelsen stain, it is heat. Then comes your decolorizer. Decolorizer either will be acid or acid alcohol. Now it is acid and alcohol. It's a combination. Okay. Now it is very important for you to know which acid, that is H2SO4. Now when you are adding the decolorizer, what is happening? Regular bacteria will lose its color, but not your acid fast. Why? Because they have mycolic acid. The acid fast organism have mycolic acid. And since they have mycolic acid, what will happen? They will retain, it's an acid, and they will retain the basic dye and resist decolorization by an acid. Clear? So, your acid fast organisms will not lose the stain, it will remain pink. Your non-acid fast will lose the color. Then comes your secondary stain, that is your cool, hot and mild. M for your methylene blue. Now, this is a very important step, a very important question which can come here. Your non-acid fast organism will take up the secondary state. Also, background will take up the secondary state. Okay. So at the end, when the staining is done, the picture will look something like this. See, these are your acid-fast bacilli. What is the color? Pink. What is the background? The background has taken the secondary stain, the methylene blue. Okay, I hope it was clear. Now let's move ahead. Now there are some variations also in your Zeal-Nielsen stain, your acid-fast stain. Now see, since we are heating this, this is a hot method. If we don't heat it, it becomes a cold method, also known as Quinones method. So instead of heating here, no heating is required here. Sorry, no heat. So if you are not using heat, what to do? You have to use a strong carbonyl fusion. Okay, strong carbonyl fusion. Now, let's see a very important concept here, that different concentration of H2SO4 is required for different acid-fast organism. Why? Now see, not all organism has the same layer of mycolic acid. Okay, different organism has different thickness of mycolic acid and lipids in its cell wall. Understand it like this. Your Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Mycobacterium tuberculosis के पास एक बहुत ही thick layer of mycolic acid है. This jacket is like the mycolic acid which is extremely thick. तो इसको remove करने के लिए we will be needing a strong acid. So इसका acid tolerance is more. ठीक है? It can tolerate more. Now Mycobacterium leprae has weaker mycolic acid content. So the acid tolerance is also decreasing. So if for MTB it's 25% H2SO4, for Mycobacterium leprae it will be 5% H2SO4. Now nocardia, you see nocardia के पास उससे भी कम mycolic acid है. This is more thinner jacket. So for nocardia species, what will happen? The acid tolerance will decrease more. Now we'll use 1% H2SO4. And for Cryptosporidium isospora, you see they have such thin layer of mycolic acid. उस case में क्या होगा? They will be having a very mild acid tolerance, that is 0.5 H2SO4. This chart is extremely important, very important. The concepts are repeated many times. Now, one point here to remember. See, what have I told you in your gram staining? That your actinomyces and nocardia both are gram positive, both are filamentous bacilli, but nocardia species is acid fast. Okay, weakly acid fast, and the acid strength needed is 1% H2SO4. This concept has been repeated multiple times. Okay, clear? Now let's move ahead. Let's see some other staining methods now. We have your Albert stain. Now what is Albert stain doing? In Albert stain, you see light green bacilli with brown granules. What are these brown granules? These brown granules are your metachromatic granules. Okay, metachromatic granules. Of which organism? Can you see a hint here? We have discussed in gram staining also. This organism is showing Chinese letter pattern. That is, this is for Corynebacterium diphtheria. Clear? Now, this is a very important question and it can directly come, okay, that in Corynebacterium diphtheria, Albert stain is used to see what? Or if you are seeing metachromatic granule and an Albert stain is being done, it is done for which organism? A very direct questions can come from here, okay. Now, let's move on to another, that is the negative stain. Now, there are certain organisms which have thick capsule, and because of those thick capsule, the organism cannot take the stain. But मुझे तो organism देखना है, I have to create a contrast. So what I'll do, I will stain the background. In such staining, the background is stained, okay. But your bacterium, they remain unstained. Clear? You see, this is the capsule. A very important, a very common example of this is India ink. And all of you, can you tell me for what India ink is used for? India ink is used for Cryptococcus. Now, Cryptococcus is a fungi. It's not a bacteria. Remember that, okay? Another kind of stain is your McFadden stain. Now, your McFadden stain is a polychrome methylene blue stain. Okay, what stain? Polychrome methylene blue stain. You see, it is used to stain the purple amorphous capsule around bacilli. Okay, it is staining the purple amorphous capsule around the bacilli. If you see here, just let me, if you see here, what do you see? This is the bacilli, and around this, the staining This is showing the purple amorphous capsule. Okay. Sorry. So now this staining is very classic for your Bacillus anthracis. The polypeptide capsule of Bacillus anthracis is stained by this. Whenever you see this McFadden stain, always go for your Bacillus anthracis. Now, since we have talked about the capsulated organism, let's talk about the list of the organism which are capsulated. So, we have a very good mnemonic for that. That is, some killers have pretty nice big capsules. So, S for some and S stands for your Streptococcus pneumonia. Also, you're known as your pneumococcus. Now, K will stand for your Klebsiella pneumoniae. See, this is a very important topic, capsulated organisms. These questions comes a lot. Sometimes you can get a direct example or sometimes it can come indirectly. H for your Haemophilus influenzae. Clear? P stands for your Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Okay. N stands for your Neisseria meningitis, also known as meningococcus. B stands for the one which we saw just now. It was Bacillus anthracis. And C, now C is not a bacteria. C stands for a fungi known as Cryptococcus. Remember, Cryptococcus is a fungi. Rest all are bacteria. One more point here. Except Bacillus anthracis, all the capsules of all these organisms are polysaccharide in nature. Okay. Only your Bacillus anthracis is polypeptide, is PP, polypeptide in nature. Clear? Okay. Now, since we have done with the most common concepts, let's see the NEET PG 2025 questions. So, we have the first question. Now, a farmer presents with ulcerative skin lesions with central necrosis. A smear from the lesion stained with polychrome methylene blue shows capsulated bacilli positive for your McFadden reaction. What is the most likely causative organism? Now, let's decode this question. What is the clinical clue here? We have a farmer with ulcerative skin lesion and a central necrosis. Now, all of this is classic for your cutaneous anthrax. Clear? Now, you see in anthrax, the occupation which we should be knowing are farmer, high risk occupation, farmer, animal handlers, and woodworkers. Okay. And now imagine if you have no clue about the clinical, you just forgot to read about the clinical picture of anthrax, but you have read the staining part. And what is written here? A smear from the lesion was stained with polychrome methylene blue, which shows capsulated bacilli positive for McFadden reaction. As soon as you see this, you have to know that this is what? This is Bacillus anthracis. Clear? It is a classical example. Now let's rule out other option. Yersinia pestis, now it shows bipolar staining. Okay, and it causes plague. It doesn't cause your any cutaneous anthrax. So it is a bipolar stain showing safety pin appearance. Okay, then your Clostridium perfringens, so it causes gas gangrene and this organism doesn't have capsule, no capsule. This is a spore forming organism. Okay. Then your Chlamydia trachomatis, now it cannot be seen in routine smear and it has also no capsule. So we have ruled out all these options. Okay. So here the answer is your Bacillus anthracis. Now let's move on to the second question which came. Here we have a case of brain abscess which reveals gram-positive branching filamentous organism on microscopy. The organism is weakly acid-fast, grows on paraffin-based media. What is the most likely etiological agent? Now, very common concept which has been used here is what all we have? We have a gram-positive branching filamentous organism which is weakly acid fast. Now, based on all three, what I can do, I can narrow it down to your, I can narrow it down to your actinomyces, nocardia, and streptomyces. Okay, since it is gram positive branching and filamentous, I am not narrowing it down to Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Why? Because it is not filamentous. Clear? So Mycobacterium TB is out here. So out of these three, now this is weakly acid fast also. So your actinomyces is also out, but it's not acid fast. Okay. Then we have your nocardia and streptomyces. Now your streptomyces, if you see your streptomyces, it's also not acid fast. So your streptomyces is also out. So what is left is your nocardia asteroides. That is the one left. And also a very important point here is paraffin based media, which is classic for nocardia. Okay. And if you want to see the clinical clue here, nocardia causes your pulmonary infection. Okay. And your hematogenous spread. Through blood, it can spread to other part, which can cause brain abscess. Okay. So your correct answer here is nocardia asteroides. Now let's move ahead. The new MCQs which has been predicted and which can come with traps. What traps I'm talking about? See this question. The image is given of modified Zn stain here. The organism is aerobic and causes pulmonary infection in immunocompromised patient. What is the organism? Mostly in such cases, when you see pulmonary infection, modified Zn stain, and if you don't focus on the image, the first option is Mycobacterium, and it can get confusing because Mycobacteria cause TB, but this is Mycobacterium avium here. And you see the organism here, it is filamentous. Okay, this is filamentous. Your Mycobacterium avium is not filamentous. Actinomyces, again, actinomyces is not acid fast, so this is also out. Rhodococcus, Rhodococcus is acid fast. It can cause pulmonary infection, but it is not filamentous. It is Coccobacilli. So again, what is left here? Nocardia. Clear? Now, second, a sputum sample shows acid fast bacilli. I'm betting you 80 to 90% of you will see this. A sputum sample showed acid fast bacilli. First, again, the organism here option is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Half of you will blindly take Mycobacterium tuberculosis, but read the full question. In modified acid fast staining, branching is visible. Does Mycobacterium tuberculosis shows branching? No. What shows branching? Nocardia. Cryptosporidium and Isospora, they are coccidian parasites. They don't show branching. Okay? And also, they causes GIT symptoms. They causes diarrhea in your immunocompromised patients. Clear? So these were some questions which can come with a trap and what to look for. Always read the questions patiently so you can come up to the answer. Thank you.